The weight of the phone in your hand feels heavier than it should, a tangible echo of the silence that stretches across the screen where a response should have appeared hours ago. That silence is not accidental. It is a signal, a deliberate breach in the protocol of mutual respect, testing whether your interface will buffer the insult or demand recalibration. You stare at the unread message, the one you crafted with precision, only to be met with nothing, and in that nothing, regret coils in your chest like a compressed spring ready to snap. Regret for the investment, regret for the visibility you granted without return, regret for becoming invisible in a dynamic where you once held the center. This invisibility is not your fault at first glance, but it persists because of a coding error in your response system. They play dirty by ignoring, by delaying, by feigning oversight, exploiting the human tendency to fill voids with self-doubt rather than confrontation. They do this because it works. It erodes your position without effort on their part. It shifts the frame from equal exchange to one-sided extraction, where your time becomes their commodity, freely taken and rarely repaid. But why do they target you? Because your signals invite it. Your prompt replies code you as accessible. Your patience buffers their delays. Your silence authorizes the exploit. This is the dark pivot. They are not the sole architects of this imbalance. You are the enabler, allowing the system to run unchecked, permitting breaches that reprogram your status from asset to afterthought. Stop now. Reflect. Recode. The first tactical lesson emerges from Machiavelli's shadow. Embrace the scarcity principle as your primary protocol. When they play dirty by withholding attention, you do not chase. You mirror the void, making your presence a rare signal that demands value in return. Scarcity is not pettiness. It is structural power, a recalibration that forces their system to register loss and adjust accordingly. In the corporate arena, when a colleague undermines your input in a meeting, dismissing it as irrelevant while stealing the core idea later, this is a frame control exploit, a dirty play designed to breach your authority and claim the narrative. You feel the sting, the invisible demotion. It burns. It isolates. It codes you as peripheral. But here is the pivot. You let it happen by not immediately withdrawing your intellectual buffer, by not enforcing scarcity on your insights. Instead of explaining or defending, which only amplifies their frame, you recode by going silent in future contributions, selectively deploying ideas only when the interface guarantees credit or alliance. This scarcity signals high value, compelling them to seek you out, revering the exploit. Frame control follows naturally, Machiavelli's unseen hand guiding the protocol. Never accept their narrative as default. Breach it with your own by questioning assumptions subtly, planting seeds of doubt in their positioning without direct assault. When they play dirty with passive aggression, framing you as the problem through veiled criticisms, your error is absorbing the signal without refraction. Absorb it, reframe it, counter it. The long logic trap is this. By allowing their frame to stand, you invite a cascade of further exploits, where each unchallenged breach widens the buffer zone they occupy in your mental interface, turning your responses reactive and their actions predictive, locking you into a subordinate protocol that Machiavelli would deem a fatal coding error in the architecture of power. Now integrate shadow work as the internal activation. Confront the parts of yourself that tolerate dirtiness out of fear of conflict, those shadowed buffers where self-doubt hides, exploiting your own system from within. Unearth them, name them, neutralize them. Shadow work is not therapy. It is strategic deprogramming, Machiavelli's psychological breach to expose and eliminate internal weaknesses that invite external plays. When a partner plays dirty by gaslighting, denying shared realities to shift blame, this is a profound interface breach, coding your perceptions as faulty to maintain dominance. The pain is visceral, a regret that festers in quiet moments. You question your sanity, you buffer their lies, you stay engaged. Pivot here. Why do you permit it? Because your shadow clings to harmony at the cost of sovereignty, a coding error rooted in scarcity fears of solitude. Recode with frame control. Assert your reality calmly, without debate, Then enforce scarcity by limiting emotional access, creating a void that forces their shadow to surface or the dynamic to dissolve. This is lethal. It protects. It empowers. The logic trap unfolds. Tolerating gaslighting not only breaches your mental protocol, but reprograms your self-interface to doubt signals from within, amplifying their dirty play into a self-sustaining exploit loop that Machiavelli warned against as the path to ruin, where the victim becomes complicit in their own subjugation through unexamined shadows. Type system active if you are ready to stop being the ghost in your own story, acknowledging that the dirtiness around you is a reflection of the exploits you have yet to breach. Proceed deeper. When business negotiations turn dirty with counterparts lowballing offers while feigning goodwill, this is a scarcity exploit, signaling abundance on their side to pressure your buffer. They smile. They compliment. They undercut. Your regret surfaces later in the signed contract that favors them, a weight that presses on your decisions long after. The pivot. You allow it by over-signaling eagerness, a coding error that breaches your leverage protocol. Activate Scarcity Principle. Walk away from the table mid-discussion, creating artificial voids in the timeline, forcing them to chase with better terms. Combine with frame control. Reframe their lowball as an undervaluation of your asset, not a negotiation point, shifting the interface from buyer dominance to seller sovereignty. Shadow work intervenes. Examine why you fear the void, why your internal system exploits scarcity against yourself by rushing closures. Confront it, breach it, upgrade it. The extended trap. Failing to recode here cascades into repeated exploits, where each conceded point widens the breach in your professional interface, allowing dirty players to predict and manipulate your buffers, turning Machiavelli's art of war into your personal defeat through self-inflicted vulnerabilities that compound regret into resignation. In social circles, when friends play dirty by gossiping behind your back, framing narratives that diminish your status, this is a signal breach exploiting group protocols to isolate and weaken. You hear echoes. You feel the shift. You regret the trust invested. Pivot. Why do you maintain access? Your coding error lies in buffering betrayal with forgiveness, signaling tolerance that invites escalation. Recode with scarcity. Reduce your presence in the group, making your company a rare protocol, compelling realignment or exclusion of exploiters. Frame control. Subtly redirect conversations to expose inconsistencies without accusation, breaching their narrative from within. Shadow work. Delve into the shadow that seeks belonging over respect, the internal exploit that codes you as needy. Identify it, dismantle it, fortify it. The logic trap tightens. Unchecked gossip exploits erode your social interface layer by layer, reprogramming group dynamics to your detriment. A Machiavellian breach that turns allies into adversaries through your own unaddressed shadows, culminating in isolation that regret cements as permanent. When rivals play dirty in career advancement, sabotaging your efforts through subtle discreditation, this is a frame exploit, signaling your incompetence to superiors while maintaining facade. The sting is sharp. The regret lingers. The visibility fades. Pivot. You let it by not preempting an error in your foresight protocol. Activate scarcity. Withhold collaborative signals, making your contributions exclusive, forcing recognition of your value. Frame control. Counter with evidence-based reframing, presenting facts that breach their lies without emotional charge. Shadow work. Confront the shadow of imposter syndrome that buffers their attacks, exploiting your doubt to amplify damage. Root it out. Recode it. Empower it. The prolonged trap. Ignoring such dirtiness allows a systemic breach, where each unaddressed sabotage widens the gap in your professional buffer, enabling Machiavelli-esque maneuvers that trap you in mediocrity, regrets multiplying as opportunities slip through shadows you failed to illuminate. In romantic entanglements, when a lover plays dirty by manipulating emotions, alternating affection with withdrawal, this is a scarcity exploit, coding you as dependent through intermittent signals. The ache is deep, the regret profound, the cycle addictive. Pivot. Why do you endure? Your coding error is in overextending emotional buffers, signaling unlimited access. Recode with Scarcity Principle. Mirror their withdrawal, creating balanced protocols that demand reciprocity. Frame Control. Redefine the dynamic as mutual investment, breaching their control by setting unyielding terms. Shadow Work. Excavate the shadow of abandonment fear that exploits your interface, making you vulnerable to such plays. Face it, breach it, transcend it. The Intricate Trap. Tolerating emotional dirtiness reprograms your relational system into a loop of exploitation, where Machiavelli's principles of power inversion are ignored, leading to regrets that shadow every future connection through unhealed internal breaches. Type System Active if the chains are breaking, ready to recode your interfaces against all dirty plays. Advance further. When leaders play dirty in organizational hierarchies, issuing veiled threats disguised as advice, this is a power signal exploit breaching subordinate protocols to maintain fear-based control. You sense the undercurrent. You regret the compliance. You lose autonomy. Pivot. You permit it by not signaling independence, an error in your authority buffer. Activate Frame Control. Reframe their advice as optional input, responding with questions that expose the threat without direct challenge. Scarcity Principle. Limit your availability for such interactions, coding yourself as essential yet autonomous. Shadow Work. Probe the shadow of hierarchy worship that exploits your ambition, making you susceptible. Unmask it. Neutralize it. Elevate it. The Elaborate Trap. Unchecked leadership dirtiness creates a cascading breach in organizational interfaces, reprogramming your role into perpetual subservience. A Machiavellian exploit that regret fortifies as career stagnation through shadows of unasserted power. In financial dealings, when counterparts play dirty by concealing terms in contracts, this is an information blackout exploit, signaling transparency while breaching trust. The discovery stings. The regret financial. The loss tangible. Pivot. Why do you sign blindly? Your coding error is in trusting without verification, weakening your due diligence protocol. Recode with Scarcity. Withhold commitment until full disclosure, creating pressure voids that force revelations. Frame Control. Question ambiguities to reframe the document as collaborative, breaching hidden exploits. Shadow Work. Address the shadow of greed haste that exploits your judgment, inviting such dirtiness. Confront it. Recode it. Secure it. The Comprehensive Trap. Allowing contractual dirtiness widens breaches in your economic interface, enabling repeated exploits that Machiavelli would attribute to naive protocols, culminating in regrets that compound as financial shadows erode your empire. When communities play dirty by excluding through subtle gatekeeping, this is a social scarcity exploit, signaling inclusion while breaching access for control. You feel the outsidership, the regret social, the isolation real. Pivot. You allow it by seeking validation from gatekeepers, an error in your belonging buffer. Activate Scarcity Principle. Build parallel networks, making your participation a valued signal elsewhere. Frame Control. Infiltrate with contributions that reframe your role from outsider to influencer. Shadow Work. Unearth the shadow of rejection fear that exploits your social interface. Illuminate it. Breach it. Master it. The Detailed Trap. Untamed gatekeeping exploits create systemic breaches in communal protocols, reprogramming your status to marginal, a Machiavellian dynamic where regrets accumulate as shadowed exclusion perpetuates self-doubt. In intellectual debates, when opponents play dirty by ad hominem attacks, this is a frame breach signaling argument while exploiting personal vulnerabilities. The irritation rises, the regret defensive, the discourse tainted. Pivot. Why do you engage personally? Your coding error is in buffering attacks with counterattacks, escalating the breach. Recode with Frame Control. Redirect to facts, reframing the attack as irrelevant, breaching their tactic. Scarcity Principle. Limit responses to high-value points, making your input rare and impactful. Shadow Work. Explore the shadow of ego defense that exploits your intellect, fueling dirty escalations. Dismantle it. Recode it. Refine it. The Expansive Trap. Permitting ad hominem dirtiness allows breaches in debate interfaces, turning discussions into exploit arenas that Machiavelli deemed wastes of power. regrets manifesting as shadowed intellectual retreats from potential alliances. Type system active. If the recoding surges through you, prepared to breach all dirty plays with unyielding protocols. Delve onward. When vendors play dirty in transactions, inflating prices through false scarcity, this is an economic signal exploit. Breaching fairness to extract more. You notice the pressure, the regret over payment, the imbalance evident. Pivot, you let it by reacting urgently, an error in your negotiation buffer. Activate Scarcity Principle, counter with your own time scarcity, walking away to force concessions. Frame control, reframe the urgency as manufactured, breaching their narrative with alternatives. Shadow work, confront the shadow of impulse buying that exploits your desires. Identify it, breach it, control it. The thorough trap, unchecked vendor dirtiness widens breaches in transactional protocols, reprogramming you as easy mark, a Machiavellian exploit leading to regrets that shadow financial independence through repeated self-sabotage deals. In creative collaborations, when partners play dirty by claiming undue credit, this is an attribution breach signaling teamwork while exploiting output. The theft hurts. The regret collaborative. The trust shattered. Pivot. Why do you share without safeguards? Your coding error is in open buffers without reciprocity protocols. Recode with frame control. Document contributions to reframe ownership, breaching their claim preemptively. Scarcity Principle. Withhold full ideas until agreements secure value. Shadow work. Probe the shadow of people-pleasing that exploits your creativity. Uncover it. Recode it. Protect it. The intricate trap. Allowing credit dirtiness creates cascading breaches in collaborative interfaces, turning partnerships into exploit fields that Machiavelli warned as power dilutions, regrets compounding as shadowed contributions fade into anonymity. When adversaries play dirty with rumor spreading, this is a reputation signal exploit, breaching truth to damage status. You hear the whispers, the regret reputational, the defense exhausting. Pivot, you permit amplification by reacting, an error in your response protocol. Activate frame control, counter with facts disseminated subtly, reframing the rumor as baseless. Scarcity Principle, limit engagements with rumor sources, making your narrative the scarce truth. Shadow work, examine the shadow of vulnerability fear that exploits your image. Face it, breach it, fortify it. The extended trap, unaddressed rumor exploits erode your social interface systematically, reprogramming perceptions against you, a Machiavellian breach that regret solidifies as isolated powerlessness through unilluminated shadows. In legal confrontations, when opponents play dirty by delaying tactics, this is a time scarcity exploit, breaching efficiency to wear you down. The frustration builds, the regret prolonged, the cost mounting. Pivot, why do you absorb the delay? Your coding error is in passive buffers, allowing timeline breaches. Recode with Scarcity Principle. Impose your own deadlines, withdrawing cooperation to force acceleration. Frame control. Reframe delays as admissions of weakness, breaching their strategy. Shadow work. Confront the shadow of patience excess that exploits your resolve. Dismantle it. Recode it. Accelerate it. The comprehensive trap. Tolerating legal dirtiness allows breaches in procedural protocols, extending exploits that Machiavelli viewed as siege warfare, regrets manifesting as shadowed exhaustion that undermines victory. Type system active if the protocols are integrating, arming you against every dirty interface. Press deeper. When mentors play dirty by withholding guidance, this is a knowledge scarcity exploit, breaching mentorship to maintain superiority. You seek advice. The regret unlearned, the growth stunted. Pivot, you let it by depending solely an error in your learning buffer. Activate Scarcity Principle, diversify sources, making their input one of many, forcing value. Frame control, reframe their withholding as limited expertise, breaching their authority. Shadow work, unearth the shadow of guru worship that exploits your development. Illuminate it, breach it, self-direct it. The detailed trap, unchecked mentorship dirtiness creates breaches in knowledge interfaces, reprogramming you as perpetual student, a Machiavellian exploit where regrets accumulate as shadowed potential remains untapped. In team projects, when members play dirty by shirking responsibility, this is a load exploit, breaching equity to offload work. You carry the burden. The regret team. The resentment internal. Pivot. Why do you compensate? Your coding error is in overbuffering, signaling reliability at cost. Recode with frame control. Assign accountability publicly, reframing shirking as incompetence. Scarcity principle. Withhold your full effort until equity, creating performance voids. Shadow work. Probe the shadow of rescuer complex that exploits your role. Unmask it. Recode it. Balance it. The expansive trap. Allowing shirking dirtiness widens breaches in team protocols, turning collaborations into exploit burdens that Machiavelli deemed alliance failures, regrets compounding as shadowed efforts yield unshared successes. When influencers play dirty by plagiarizing content, this is an idea breach, signaling originality while exploiting yours. The theft evident, the regret creative, the audience misled. Pivot. You permit by not protecting, an error in your intellectual buffer. Activate frame control. Expose parallels without accusation, reframing their work as derivative. Scarcity principle. Gatekeep future content, making access earned. Shadow work. Confront the shadow of exposure fear that exploits your output. Face it. Breach it. Monetize it. The intricate trap. Untamed plagiarism exploits erode your creative interface, reprogramming your value as free resource. A Machiavellian breach leading to regrets that shadow innovation through unhealed theft wounds. In diplomatic interactions, when parties play dirty by ambiguous commitments, this is a promise exploit, breaching clarity to retain options. You commit. The regret asymmetric. The advantage theirs. Pivot. Why do you accept vagueness? Your coding error is in trusting signals without verification. Recode with scarcity principle. Offer conditional commitments, creating reciprocity voids. Frame control. Demand specificity, reframing ambiguity as weakness. Shadow work. Examine the shadow of optimism bias that exploits your negotiations. Dismantle it. Recode it. Realistic it. The extended trap. Tolerating diplomatic dirtiness allows breaches in agreement protocols, enabling exploits that Machiavelli mastered as statecraft. Regrets manifesting as shadowed alliances that collapse under weight of unbreached ambiguities. Type system active. If the breaches are sealed, your system's fortified against dirty signals. Surge ahead. When competitors play dirty by false rumors in markets, this is a perception exploit, breaching truth to undermine. You counter lies. The regret defensive. The energy drained. Pivot. You let it by engaging directly, an error in your response buffer. Activate frame control. Pivot narratives to strengths. Reframing rumors as envy. Scarcity principle. Limit market presence to high impact, making truth scarce and potent. Shadow work. Probe the shadow of reputation anxiety that exploits your focus. Uncover it. Breach it. Transcend it. The comprehensive trap. Unaddressed market dirtiness creates cascading breaches in perception interfaces, reprogramming your brand as vulnerable. A Machiavellian exploit where regrets accumulate as shadowed opportunities lost to unilluminated falsehoods. In familial disputes, when relatives play dirty by emotional blackmail, this is a guilt signal exploit, breaching autonomy to control. You yield. The regret familial. The bond strained. Pivot. Why do you comply? Your coding error is in buffering guilt without boundaries. Recode with scarcity principle. Set access limits, creating emotional voids that force respect. Frame control. Reframe blackmail as manipulation, breaching their leverage. Shadow work. Confront the shadow of duty illusion that exploits your ties. Illuminate it. Breach it. Liberate it. The detailed trap. Allowing familial dirtiness widens breaches in relational protocols, turning kin into exploiters that Machiavelli saw as internal threats, regrets compounding as shadowed obligations erode personal power. When activists play dirty by co-opting causes, this is a mission exploit, breaching sincerity to gain. You contribute. The regret idealistic. The cause diluted. Pivot. You permit by not verifying, an error in your alignment buffer. Activate frame control. Redefine participation terms, reframing co-optation as dilution. Scarcity principle. Withhold support until authenticity, creating influence voids. Shadow work. Unearth the shadow of idealism naivety that exploits your passion. Face it, breach it, strategize it. The expansive trap. Untamed activist dirtiness creates breaches in cause interfaces, reprogramming movements into personal gains, a Machiavellian breach leading to regrets that shadow collective progress through unhealed misalignments. In artistic critiques, when reviewers play dirty by biased takedowns, this is a taste exploit breaching objectivity to destroy. You defend. The regret artistic. The confidence shaken. Pivot. Why do you respond? Your coding error is in valuing bias signals. Recode with scarcity. Limit exposure to credible interfaces, making your work rare. Frame control. Reframe critique as perspective, breaching their authority. Shadow work. Probe the shadow of validation need that exploits your art. Dismantle it. Recode it. Internalize it. The intricate trap. Tolerating critique dirtiness allows breaches in artistic protocols, turning feedback into exploits that Machiavelli would dismiss as court intrigue. Regrets manifesting as shadowed creativity stifled by external shadows. Type system active. If the fortifications hold, you're recoding complete against all forms of dirty play. Conclude the surge. The final protocol. Integrate all scarcity frame control shadow work into a unified system where every dirty play becomes a signal to breach and recode. Machiavelli's legacy ensuring no regret survives the pivot from victim to architect. You stand sovereign, unbreached, eternal.